الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وآله وصحبه أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters, my dear children, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today inshallah I'll continue the story of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam, and you may recall in the last episode I was talking about how did he invite his father to the one true God, and how did he manage to stage a play regarding the heavenly bodies, the planet, the moon, the sun, to convince his people that you shouldn't worship these items, you should worship the creator who created them. And I also mentioned how did he define Rabbul Alameen to his people, how did he find the Lord and cherisher of the worlds to his people, when he told his people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who created him and he provided guidance. It is Allah who provides food and drink for him. It's Allah who will make him recover when he is not well, and that he hopes that Allah would forgive his sins on the day of judgment. Today I'm going to talk about another play which again Prophet Ibrahim ﷺ staged to teach his people. The story is mentioned in chapter 21, Al-Anbiya, the prophets, and also in chapter As-Saffat, chapter 37. Let me start from Surah Al-Anbiya, and this is chapter 21, verse 51. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ولقد آتينا إبراهيم رشده من قبل وكنا به عالمين. We have given Ibrahim his guidance, and we were aware with him or acquainted with him very well. In other words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying it is him who provided guidance to Ibrahim, and Allah is aware of him. In the next verse, إذ قال لأبيه وقومه ما هذه التماثيل التي أنتم لها عاكفون. He said to his father and his people, what are these idols which you are constantly devoted to? Again, the word i'tikaf, عاكفون, they worship them, they sit in front of them for hours, they stand up, they kneel, they prostrate to these idols. قالوا وجدنا آباءنا لها عابدين. They said, we found our fathers worshipping them. قال لقد كنتم أنتم وآباؤكم في ضلال مبين. Surely you, or indeed you and your ancestors, were in manifest error. What you and your ancestors were doing is wrong. قالوا أجئتنا بالحق أم أنت من اللاعبين. Have you brought us the truth, or you are just making fun of us? You are just ridiculing us and our gods. قال بل ربكم رب السماوات والأرض الذي فطرهن وأنا على ذلك من الشاهدين. Your Lord, your true Lord, is the one who created heavens and earth. Your Lord is the Lord of the heavens and the earth who created them. وأنا على ذلك من الشاهدين. I can testify for, I am a witness for that. Now, the next verse, we don't know whether this is something he said loudly or he thought about it in his head. وتالله لأكيدن أصنامكم بعد أن تولوا مدبرين. I will devise a plan against your idols. I will certainly plan against your idols after you have gone away and you have turned your backs. So most probably he said it to himself. This is the plan now in his head. He's going to do something to their idols. So he went into the temple, as we are told, and he had an axe. He destroyed all of them. He made them into little pieces and put the axe on the lap of the biggest one. So in Surah Al-Anbiya, the part of the story given to us, فَجَعَلَهُمْ جُذَاذًا إِلَّا كَبِيرًا لَهُمْ لَعَلَّهُمْ إِلَيْهِ يَرْجِعُونَ. He broke them into pieces except the largest one or the biggest of them, that they may turn and address themselves to it. Maybe they will think about it. So they came back. قالوا من فعل هذا بآلهتنا إنه لمن الظالمين. Who did this to our gods? He must be a very unjust, unfair person. Who did that? Just to point out something here very important. No Muslim today is allowed to do that. You are not Ibrahim, okay? Don't you dare, as a Muslim, to go into a temple and touch any of the idols of the idol worship. You are not allowed to do that. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, on the conquest of Mecca, he destroyed 360 idols around the Kaaba. Ibrahim alayhi salatu went into the temple at his time and destroyed all the idols except the biggest one. No justification to say, oh, it's a sunnah, it's a tradition, Muhammad did that and Ibrahim did that, I can't. No. The Quran commands us even not to insult the gods of the idol worshippers. وَلَا تَسُبُّوا الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. Because if you do so, they will insult Allah. So, لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ. You have your religion, I have my religion. You want to worship the sun, the moon, the idols, the trees, nothing to do with me. Don't you dare, I'm saying it again, don't you dare to claim that you have the right to go into a temple and destroy the idols or even tarnish them in any way. Okay, let us come back now or go back now to the story of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. The priests, when they came back into the temple and they saw this, what did they say? Surely the person who did that must be a very unfair, unjust. So they said among themselves, قالوا سمعنا فتى يذكرهم يقال له إبراهيم. We heard of a young lad, a youth called Ibrahim, who used to talk about them in a very funny way, he didn't like them. قالوا فأتوا به على أعين الناس لعلهم يشهدون. Okay, go and bring him then and let people witness what is going to happen. Bring him before the eyes of the people that they may bear witness. Okay, so maybe it was a time of prayer. People were in the temple. They got Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, and now he's going to be questioned in front of everybody. قالوا أأنت فعلت هذا بآلهتنا يا إبراهيم? Did you do this to our gods, O Ibrahim? Was it you who destroyed them like that? Ibrahim, as I mentioned earlier, that was staged a play, okay? So he said, قال بل فعله كبيرهم هذا. I don't think so. I think the one who did is this big guy there, the big one there. I mean, the axe is on his lap. Why do you blame me? But he's there. He's intact, still intact. He must be the one who destroyed all of them. فاسألوهم إن كانوا ينطقون. Why didn't you ask him? If they can talk, ask them. فرجعوا إلى أنفسهم. Now they are having a count. They turn it to themselves. They were counseling now with each other, you know. Yes. فقالوا إنكم أنتم الظالمون. Oh my goodness. Surely you are the ones in the wrong. So they admitted that they are in the wrong. They are worshipping the wrong God. This is not to be worshipped. This is not to be served. But they thought of the business. They thought they are going to lose their prestige, their power, the money they get from the people and from the king. So they changed their mind. They disagreed among themselves, and they said, no, we cannot admit that we are wrong. ثم نكسوا على رؤوسهم. That's in verse 65. Subhanallah. This reminds me of the magicians at the time of Musa alayhi salatu wassalam. When there was a competition between Musa and all the magicians in ancient Egypt, in the presence of Pharaoh and his cabinet, and in the presence of so many people who came to witness the competition. When the magicians were defeated, they immediately, without any hesitation, believed in the one true God, the God of Moses and Aaron. قالوا آمنا برب العالمين رب موسى وهارون. In another verse, رب هارون وموسى. We believe in the one true God of Moses and Aaron. And the Pharaoh threatened them. He will kill them. He will torture them. He will crucify them on the trunks of the palm trees. And they said, no problem. لا ضير. We don't care. Do whatever you want to do. It's only in this life. Thank God that we've been saved from your evil. So the Egyptian magicians chose the right path. The priests at the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam, they went back. They were confounded with shame. Then they realized they will lose their status, their wealth, their authority, their power, etc. What did they say to Ibrahim? لَقَدْ عَلِمْتَ مَا هَؤُلَاءِ يَنْطِقُونَ. Oh Ibrahim, why are you asking us to ask him? You know very well that they don't talk. So Ibrahim said, قال أفتعبدون من دون الله ما لا ينفعكم شيئا ولا يضركم. Would you then worship instead of the one true God something which will neither benefit you nor bring any harm to you? You have no brain. أفلا تعقلون أفلا تتفكرون. أف لكم ولما تعبدون من دون الله أفلا تعقلون. You know, shame on you and what you worship besides Allah. أفلا تعقلون. You have no sense, you have no brain, you can't think. So Ibrahim now is an opposition. Ibrahim now in public demonstrated to all the people who were there that these idols cannot benefit you, they cannot hear you, they cannot see you. So why would you serve them? Now he is in the opposition, so let us deal with him. Normally in any country, even in countries where they claim to be democratically elected governments, the opposition is an enemy, and they would find ways to get rid of the opposition. We know this. قالوا حرقوه. Burn him alive. Put him in the furnace. وانصروا آلهتكم. And bring victory to your gods. Yeah, oh my goodness. إن كنتم فاعلين. burn him alive and protect your gods if you do anything at all. Let us get rid of him. So they built a furnace and put Ibrahim inside it, ignited it, and you can see the blazing fire. And Ibrahim is there. قُلْنَا يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيم. The command came, O fire, be a source of peace and be cool on Ibrahim. Bardan. Bard means cool. Not cool without peace, because cool he might die from the cold, from the freezing temperature. وَسَلَامًا, and a source of peace on Ibrahim. We said, O fire, be cool and a mean of safety for Ibrahim. Ya subhanallah. وَأَرَادُوا بِهِ كَيْدًا فَجَعَلْنَاهُمُ الْأَخْسَرِينَ. They planned and plotted evil against him. We made them the greater losers. This is a beautiful invocation. If you have someone planning evil against you, always remember this. And I will also mention the one in Surah As-Saffat. When I'm going to read a few verses from Surah As-Saffat, repeating this story but in different style. وَأَرَادُوا بِهِ كَيْدًا فَجَعَلْنَاهُمُ الْأَخْسَرِينَ. They planned and plotted evil for him, but we defeated them. We made them the losers. So let me now go to Surah As-Saffat, chapter 37, and starting from verse 83. وَإِنَّ مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ لَإِبْرَاهِيمَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that Ibrahim was a descendant from Nuh alayhi salatu wassalam. Verily from the party was Ibrahim. He came as a descendant from Nuh alayhi salatu wassalam. وَإِنَّ مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ لَإِبْرَاهِيمَ إِذْ جَاءَ رَبَّهُ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. He came to his Lord with an intact heart, pure, sound heart, clean of all the diseases I mentioned before. إذ قال لأبيه وقومه ماذا تعبدون. Again, here he spoke to his father and his people regarding what they were worshipping. أَإِفْكًا آلِهَةً دُونَ اللَّهِ تُرِيدُونَ. Is it a falsehood, gods other than Allah, that you desire? فَمَا ظَنُّكُمْ بِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. What do you think about the Lord and the cherisher of all the worlds? What is your idea about the Lord of the worlds? Then part of the play, فَنَظَرَ نَظْرَةً فِي النُّجُومِ. He looked at the stars. فَقَالَ إِنِّي سَقِيمٌ. I'm ill. I'm going to get ill. I'm indeed sick. He was using their tactics. He was reading the stars. That's what they used to do, to tell the future, for example. He said, I'm going to get ill. I feel I'm getting ill. فَتَوَلَّوْا عَنْهُ مُدْبِرِينَ. So they ran away from him. Everybody ran. Oh, I have COVID-19. So everybody ran away. So, entered the temple. فَرَاغَ إِلَىٰ آلِهَتِهِمْ فَقَالَ أَلَا تَأْكُلُونَ. What he did, he went straight to the idols. And what he found there, food offered to them, you can see it underneath. Many times when I went to Thailand or to Korea, we visited temples, and I saw myself all these things. I saw people praying in front of them, doing i'tikaf, standing up, going down, prostrating. And I remember the Korean guide in South Korea, she said, in this temple you have 4 huge Buddha statues. If you want wealth, you ask the first one. If you want to get married, you ask the second one. If you want good health, you the third one. So I looked at her and I said, excuse me, do they hear you when you talk to them? can they see you when you look at them? And she said, excuse me, are you a Muslim? I said, yes. She said, I'm not a Buddhist anymore. I give it up. Don't ask me. Okay, fine. No problem. I used exactly the same words which Prophet Ibrahim والسلام. And very often when I have someone coming to embrace Islam and the person is an idol worshipper, I used exactly the verses which Ibrahim والسلام used with his own people. Very simple to follow his strategy. So he went in, as I mentioned earlier, and he saw the food in front of them. ألا تأكلون? Why you're not eating? ما لكم لا تنطقون? Why don't you talk? فرغ عليهم ضربا باليمين. So he used his right hand and started to strike them with the axe which was in his right hand. فأقبلوا إليه يزفون. Then came the worshippers with hurried steps to him. قال أتعبدون ما تنحتون? Do you worship what you carve yourselves? والله خلقكم وما تعملون. And Allah created you and everything you do with your own hands. قالوا ابنوا له بنيانا فألقوه في الجحيم. They said, build a furnace for him and throw him into it. فأرادوا به كيدا فجعلناهم الأسفلين. This is the invocation in Surah As-Saffat, chapter 37, and I already mentioned to you the one in Surah Al-Anbiya. Here, فَأَرَادُوا بِهِ كَيْدًا فَجَعَلْنَاهُمُ الْأَسْفَلِينَ. The other one was وَأَرَادُوا بِهِ كَيْدًا فَجَعَلْنَاهُمُ الْأَخْسَرِينَ. Here Allah is saying, they planned and plotted against him, but we made them the ones most humiliated. So remember these two invocations. If anybody is planning evil against you, make sure that you memorize these two invocations and you read them. Okay? Inshallah, may Allah make you all victorious, inshallah. Now, the next verse I'm going to read is from Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2. And this is very interesting, actually. You see, Ibrahim now, after when the fire died away completely, they found Ibrahim sitting there. Okay? Ibrahim was, where was Ibrahim? He was sitting there. Big smile on his face. I mean, he is a troublemaker. Even the fire doesn't burn him. Oh my goodness. Took him out and took him to the king at his time. In the Arabic tradition, they refer to the king at that time as An-Namrud. An-Namrud. So, the king An-Namrud, and I'm starting from verse 259. Very arrogant man, very, I would say, tyrant, a real tyrant, very similar to Pharaoh and his people. And Ibrahim والسلام, walked in the court, the palace, and the king asked him a question. Ibrahim, you are a troublemaker, aren't you? Who is your God? You keep telling us about this God we cannot see. You are denouncing the idols we worship. You are denouncing the planets and the heavenly bodies we adore. Who is your God? So Ibrahim والسلام, said, قال ربي الذي يحيي ويميت. The definition of God. ربي الذي يحيي ويميت. My Lord is the one who gives life and he causes death. The creator who creates and he causes death. قال أنا أحيي وأميت. So what? So what? I can do the same like your God. Subhanallah. Look at the arrogance. There were two prisoners. One was supposed to be killed and the other one was supposed to be freed. So the king said, guards, the prisoner was supposed to be killed, free him. And the one who was supposed to be freed, kill him. You see, Ibrahim, I can do exactly like your God. So Ibrahim looked at the king And he said to him, my God, my Lord, is the one who brings the sun every day from the east. Can you bring it from the west? This is very interesting. Very interesting. The king was a scientist. He studied heavenly bodies. He knows very well the movement of the stars and the galaxies and the planets. So now Ibrahim is saying to him, the God I worship is the one who brings the sun every day from the east. Can you bring it from the west? What does it mean? The earth must come to a complete standstill. And then it will start to rotate in the opposite direction for the sun to rise from the west. The king immediately realized that this is impossible for him to achieve. فَبُهِتَ الَّذِي كَفَرَ. So the unbeliever was fully defeated. Let me read the verse. It's very interesting. ألم تر إلى الذي حاج إبراهيم في ربه أن آتاه الله الملك. Have you not heard about the one who disputed with Ibrahim about his Lord because Allah had granted him power? He made him a king. إذ قال إبراهيم ربي الذي يحيي ويميت. Ibrahim said, my Lord is the one who gives life and causes death. قال أنا أحيي وأميت. I also can do the same. I give life and death. قال إبراهيم فإن الله يأتي بالشمس من المشرق فأتي بها من المغرب. Ibrahim said, but it is Allah that causes the sun to rise from the east. Can you cause it to rise from the west? So, was he confounded who in arrogance rejected faith? فَبُهِتَ الَّذِي كَفَرَ. He was fully defeated, the one who rejected faith. وَاللَّهُ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمِينَ. Allah will never provide guidance to people who are unjust, unfair. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam was aware that the time will come when the sun will rise from the west, as Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us. One of the signs of the day of judgment is coming. The sun will rise from the west. And we were told that Al-Masih al-Dajjal will remain on the earth for 40 days. The first day is equivalent to 1 year. Second day is equivalent to 1 month. Third day is equivalent to 1 week. The rest of the days are like our normal days. Think about it. When the earth comes to a complete standstill, it will take 1 year to gain momentum to be able to rotate a full rotation in 1 year. And then 1 month. And then 1 week. Now it is the normal speed for the days as we have them now. Ibrahim also was aware of that. That's why he asked this man, this king, this question. Now the next verse from Surah Al-Baqarah, it was a discussion between Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, questioning or inquiring about how can Allah give life to the dead. وإذ قال, this verse 260. وإذ قال إبراهيم رب أرني كيف تحيي الموت. Ibrahim said to Allah, please show me how do you give life to the dead. Ibrahim did not question Allah by saying, can you? No, he did not say, can you? He said, show me how. How do you give life to the dead? So Allah said, أولم تؤمن? Oh Ibrahim, you haven't believed? He said, no. Bala, no way. No, of course I'm a believer. ولكن ليطمئن قلبي. But I just want to satisfy my heart, okay? I want to see the experiment. I want to see it happening in front of my eyes. قال فخذ 4 من الطير فصرهن إليك. Take 4 birds, 4 different birds, different species. Kill them, mince them, mix them together. Okay, so the meat of the 4 birds been mixed together. ثم اجعل على كل جبل منهن جزءا. Take a lamb and put a lamb on each of these 4 mountains. So distribute the meat of the mixed birds into 4 lumps and put them on these 4 mountains. ثم ادعهن يأتينك سعيا. Then call them, just call them. يأتينك سعيا. They will come to you, not flying, so they will be mixed with other birds. No. سعيا, walking towards you. They will come walking towards you. وَاعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. And you know, or then know, or be aware, or you are informed, or you are told, أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is exalted in power, and He is the most wise. حكيم. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين فاستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. May Allah bless all of you and guide us all to His straight path, inshallah, and keep us all on it. May Allah help those who are going through difficult times in their lives and give speedy recovery, inshallah, and good health to those who are not well. And please let us all pray to have peace in our homes. Please, let us reconcile. Let us start to talk to each other. Husbands, wives, children, parents, in-laws, please. Let us have peace, please. May Allah's peace prevail, inshallah. And don't forget, please, to continue to donate to our project. Hopefully, inshallah, very soon we'll all be praying there together again, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.